Okay, Dennis. So it's great to see you
Yeah.
in the sort of virtual flesh finally. Um, you should have been coming to the festival with the Funky Funk Band. Obviously, we're going to have to put that back now, but we are going to do it on December the 10th, I believe. So,
Yes, and looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that, Matt.
and what's kind of, and I guess the first thing to ask you is really how have you managed to negotiate this last year or so as a musician, and what kind of creative outlets have you managed to find in what has obviously been a very difficult time?
Yeah, it's been an interesting time, hasn't it? And I think generally for musicians, it's been a time of preparation, and if I can put it like that, it's preparation for what is to come next. So my focus has been on preparing new musics, preparing the bands that I want to sort of put out, or if you like, the idea of bands, and on that front, I'm talking about much smaller combos. I'm talking about finding a way to still make music post lockdowns once we open up. So everything has to be tighter, tighter in terms of numbers and tighter in terms of concept and looking at what promoters will want after everything's locked down as well. So it isn't just a case of business as usual. It's a case of thinking about what the community is going to require to help to get back on its feet. And if I can sort of take it to a personal level, it's for again, it's a balance of staying creative and at the same time, trying to earn a living in whatever way possible. So, it's definitely pulling on all of the angles of music making, teaching, trying to increase the flow, the different income streams. I mean, in particular, session work, getting session work and at the same time, trying to combine that with the teaching. So there's been a lot going on, but it's all in the aim of looking ahead.
Sure. And in terms of projects, you have quite recently just started to perform again on one or two. I guess like the project with Shri down at Ronnie Scott's. Can you tell us a little
That's
about that?
right. Yes, Sri Sriram is a bass player. I say bass player extraordinaire. He's got his absolutely incredible individual approach to playing the bass, a bass that he made himself, and is it's influences from his homeland, from India, fused with so many different styles. A lot of people probably know him from the duo that he had. He had a drum and bass duo. I say a duo act with a full band rolling around the world. Bad Martian Tree. They had a great thing, drum and bass. The project that I did with Shri recently, he invited me to perform with him. He had a solo show at Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club, and I was fortunate to um, be a part of that. We made it a duo. Lots of effects and effects pedals with Shri on the bass, and myself also with all kinds of guitar boxes and effects. Um, Basically playing the music of Shri's last album, The Letter, that he recorded with some fine musicians, and it's a very gentle album. So the project itself is very, very earthy, very intimate, and very calm, um, with bursts of some big funk energy, some energy of rock, all kinds of stuff. But it's a great project, and it was a pleasure to perform it at Ronnie's, as you can imagine, as a live stream. And yeah, we're planning on doing a lot more stuff with it.
Brilliant. And yeah, I mean, how from a performer's point of view, performing to a live stream, um, how does that compare with having a real audience in front of you?
It doesn't compare. It doesn't compare, but I think the way to look at live streaming as a performer is to cocoon yourself in an emotion, in a sort of a musical emotion, for whatever period of time you're playing. And again, going back to performing with Sri, that's what we did. We really just found a space that we could trade emotions and trade um, try and portray a feeling of an audience being there. It doesn't compare because a live audience, you can look in someone's eyes and see what they're feeding. The audience feeds the musicians, vice versa, and that's the beautiful communication of live music, as you know. Um, but when there isn't an audience, it's you draw on um, what you have around you, and it's always still a beautiful thing to share music. So yeah,
It's really, it was that intimacy came across, and that's a really interesting way to put it, to cocoon yourself in your emotions, and it still gives off a positive force, I think, to people watching that. So we look forward to sharing some snippets of that with our audience after this. And so, are you starting to tentatively get back to rehearsing with people again now, Dennis, or how's it working?
well, it's slowly coming back together. I'm getting a lot of calls for the trio, Velocity Trio, with Ross Stanley and Pedro Segundo. At the same time, the band Funky Funk. We're still, still getting a lot of calls. Rehearsals are starting a little later. Obviously, at this very moment, things are still tentative, even though we're open. So we start rehearsing again in July. So looking forward to getting back and just feeling musicians, feeling the energy of musicians. I had my first live session last week, the first in a long time, with Pee Wee Ellis, and it was a beautiful experience to get in a room with musicians again. And as I was talking with Pee Wee, just to feel the air from another instrument, to feel the energy of another person playing an instrument, as opposed to being cocooned in your home, alone,
Mm.
practicing. And even though recording and doing a lot of playing, it's not the same as sharing the experience of um, of playing together.
Sure. And so we look forward, then the green shoots of recovery are starting to emerge. And from autumn onwards, would you
Yes,
expect to be playing more and more and performing again in front of audiences?
I really hope so. And if the amount of calls that are coming in for work is to encourage us, then I'm really encouraged by what's potentially down the line, and really looking forward to, as I said, sharing. I can feel that audiences are ready to hear music again, and all safety concerns at the forefront. I'm sure we're going to have a good time.
Brilliant stuff. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dennis, and being part of our
Thank you.
virtual festival. And we look forward to seeing you in the flesh with the Funky Funk Band on December the 10th for a good Christmas party.
Fantastic, and great to see you as well.